their release, Cooper Square. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a not so good thing. I can't wait to let you all know what I think about this release coming up next. Is it worth the Bond number 9 price tag? YouTube Fragrance family, welcome to another Robes 08 Fragrance review. Today I'm going to be talking about the House of Bond number 9 and their release Cooper Square. Now before I get into all that, please take the time to subscribe down below, hit that bell so you can keep tabs on yours truly and be one of the first to check out all my new content in 2020. I'm also all over social media. You can follow me on all platforms under my YouTube handle, Robes08. You can find me on all those social media. Now, talking about social media, I do have a Facebook fragrance group called Fragrance Guru Nation. We're up to 16,800 members strong, and we're waiting for you to come join us on my Facebook group. Now, on to today's review, Cooper Square. Now, Bond's taking us back in the 80s. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Let's delve into this one. Now let's go under the hood with Cooper Square. Release date was back in 2010. Concentrations Eau de Parfum. Nose behind this one, Laurent Le Garniac. Resume, okay. Icon Racing. Montauk from, of course, Bond number 9. A couple Liz Claiborne curves. So resume, actually I lied, pretty poor. Montauk's actually pretty good from the House of Bond number 9. So let's go into the olfactory group. This is an Oriental Fougère. Now let's take a look at the note breakdown. Up top we have cognac and juniper berries. So I'm looking at that booziness from the cognac. Now in the middle we have lavender, myrrh, patchouli, and incense. So we may have some smoke here with the incense and myrrh. And then in the backbone, we have cashmere wood, labdanum, musk, and vetiver. So the note breakdown, pretty straightforward. There's some interesting notes here. The key notes to this nose right here are lavender, juniper berries, and musk. For me, I was more excited about the incense, the myrrh, the cognac. Those are big notes to me, to my nose. So unfortunately, Cooper Square, you're already getting hit up here with the keynotes to my nose. Now the opening of this stuff. Now it is my scent of the day. I'm wearing it. Let's remind me of this introduction on the back of my hand here. A couple sprays and a couple for the fragrance community. Immediately hit with woody, aromatic, balsamic, musky tones here. Cooper Square starts off your journey straight out of the 80s up to the early 90s here. Made me think of the original Calvin from Calvin Klein meets a barbershop Rive Gauche pour Homme from YSL. It hits me immediately with some heavy juniper berry, some lavender, musk. Sadly, the more interesting notes in the note breakdown like cognac, incense, and even the myrrh have little to no impact on my skin. Unfortunately, anyone expecting a heavy cognac note here in the opening, you're going to be sorely disappointed. It's aromatic and much cleaner of an opening than I expected. It has a huge barbershop appeal from, of course, that lavender. Now, the juniper here is your main player here in the opening, showing mostly its camphorous, pine-like, peppery, herbaceous qualities up top. And to be honest, at times, it's not only your central theme here, but it's showing all its qualities without much distraction from the other notes. It really is simplistic. You feel the musky backbone of this scent immediately and the green aspects. I felt this opening truly felt dated and kind of simple and made me realize the price I paid for this bottle. And it was not worth what I was getting in this opening. Hopefully the dry down has more to show me from Cooper Square. Now more into the heart and the base of Cooper Square. In the heart, the story doesn't get any better for my nose. The juniper takes a step back. as lavender takes more of a primary role here. The green patchouli shows its face with some woody aspects here, more piney than anything. The myrrh comes into play, giving the scent some resinous quality, but not enough to really save this one, to be quite honest with you. Overall, my fellow purists in the fragrance game may hate me just because this kind of smells like Calvin. And going back in time sometimes is a really good thing. I love fragrances that do have just that DNA, classic DNA. And at other times it's almost left to be dead, discontinued. So overall, Cooper Square for me, this one has a very old school vibe to it, bringing it perhaps to some older heads, bringing them back to the day, to some of the releases back in the 80s and 90s. And I wouldn't blame you if that brought you back to that time. Overall, nothing new in the fragrance game, nothing really interesting in the fragrance game, which not every scent requires to be. However, for the price point, and Bond Number 9 price points are pretty hefty, I felt Bond Number 9 could have brought more to the scent Cooper Square. This was a disappointment since day one. I really never changed my mind with this fragrance. I never really loved it. It really was collecting a lot of dust, and for reviewing sakes, I gave it as much chance as I could. And I know that my fellow fragrance reviewer, Christo, fellow Canadian, absolutely loves this stuff. And when I have a similar nose to Christo, I love a lot of fragrances that he does. And when a fellow nose like that I really respect, I sometimes give fragrances like this more chances than others. But through testing from day one till today, nothing's changing. A disappointment. It didn't change. So my ratings to uniqueness. Uniqueness, I'm going to give this 2 bottles out of 10. I really felt like this is nothing new to the game. The only thing, it repackages Calvin from Calvin Klein. If people do want to get that particular fragrance, this may be right up your alley. Scent-wise, I'm going to give this one 4 bottles out of 10. It really isn't up my alley. As much as some purists absolutely love Cooper Square from Bond, I would say this has a classic scent profile for sure. I didn't feel like if I lost this bottle, I definitely wouldn't repurchase it. So now let's get into performance and feedback. So as far as my sprays, I do 1 on the chest, as I usually do. My first spray is always on the chest, 2 on the neck, so 1 on each side here. And these Bond Number 9 atomizers, they're okay, nothing crazy. And then 2 on the arms, so I usually go inner elbows like this. So 5 sprays is the best for Cooper Square. Now looking at performance, longevity, and projection, let's hit up longevity first. 8 bottles out of 10. A lot of these Bond Number 9s do very well on my skin, and Cooper Square is right up there. I get 7 to 9 hours with this one, any given wearing. No complaints there. As far as projection goes, 7 bottles out of 10. Moderate to really an average as far as projection goes. Nothing too crazy here. Compliment factor with this one, I'm going to say 2 bottles out of 10. Maybe it's because of the way every time I wear this fragrance, I just feel it doesn't have that much personality. It's not something that I would like to wear. 2 bottles out of 10. As wimpy as this rating can be, I really got nothing out of this one, good or bad. Unfortunately, Cooper Square didn't do it in the compliment factor. So let's get into versatility on this one. Let's take a look at age range. Age range, I really think that this one has, of course, feels like it's built in the 80s, and I really think the 30 plus crowd would absolutely love this. I am in the 30 plus crowd, but not for me. Seasons. Let's take a look at the seasons. This one is fairly versatile as a build. It has that classic build to it, so I think more of a tweener. So yeah, I can wear it in the fall, all day, every day, springtime, especially those rainy days, overcast, and winter. Night or day, versatility is one of its strong points. I really think that I can wear this as a signature scent day or night. If you really do like this scent, you can wear it at almost any type of occasion. That goes to occasion. Signature scent approved? Hell yeah. Can I wear this casual, formal? Yeah, I could see that. Even work appropriate, to be quite honest. So it's one of those fragrances that will have some fairly high versatility, and that goes to the score. I'm going to give this 7 bottles out of 10 for the versatility. Versatile for the right type of person. Now let's get into value. This may hurt it a little bit for me. Bottle size available are 1.7 to 3.4 ounce. I got the big boy right here, the 3.4 ounce. Pricing, you're looking at $215 to $300 USD. Retail, of course, for this one. Availability, I do believe this one is still available, not discontinued, still available on the Bond Number 9 website. Pricing versus quality. How many bottles am I going to give this one? 3 bottles out of 10. I didn't think price and cents matched up right here. I really feel like I could probably go and find something that was built in the 80s and would probably be in a bargain bin. So that's one of those things that Cooper Square doesn't show me that 200 plus threshold for niche fragrance. I don't see it here. Now on to the final chapter on Cooper Square. Let's take a look at some positives and some negatives to take away from this particular fragrance. So let's start with the positive. Positive things to take away from me was it's versatile for the right guy, I believe. It would bring someone back to the good old Calvin days, Calvin Klein's Calvin. So that could be a positive for you, that you can't really find Calvin, but Cooper Square is really kind of scratching that itch that you need from Calvin. It may do it for you. Negatives to take away from this one. I felt what Cooper Square offers for the price, way off. The scent profile of this one does not match with me at all as far as pricing goes. No appeal for me. Complexity was fairly poor for me. I really felt like fairly linear. I feel like it's nothing that is out there. The notes that excited me in the note breakdown really didn't show up. So again, Cooper Square, final thoughts. Let's get into them. Kind of lukewarm here. My overall thoughts are that this was a complete disappointment for me from the House of Bond Number 9. They all can't be winners, guys. And our tastes are all different. And there's good reason why you don't hear much on YouTube about this particular scent. Not too many people have spent the dough to get this fragrance, because I feel like this is an underwhelming release. For the right person, I think it would be worth the price. For me and for a lot of people out there, it really isn't worth it. Actually, a reviewer on YouTube or Base Notes, I don't recall, but a reviewer called this a drugstore fragrance for a niche price. That's apt. So my overall score on Cooper Square, out of 10. Unfortunately, this one, 3 bottles out of 10. And that's where, how would I recommend for this one? Would it be purchased? Would you get a sample? Or do I think it's a forget about it? Now, we all know what this one is. Forget about it. I really don't think this one is worth seeking out, especially for the Bond Number 9 pricing. I feel personally there's better out there from the brand. So now that you know my thoughts on Cooper Square, I'd love to hear your take on this one. Is it the same as mine? Good, bad, and the ugly? I'd love to hear your take on this particular scent. Now keep it tuned in, as I'm going to leave you with a few takes from my social media. I asked everybody on social media what they thought about Cooper Square, good or bad and the ugly, and you're going to see some of those at the end of the video. As always, a great or poor fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your Bond Number 9 fragrance wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube.